Welcome to the Fort Myers Beach Good Neighbor Podcast, the Alex King Group series. Each week, we'll be covering all things Fort Myers Beach real estate, from market updates to local insight and the unique charm that makes this community such a special place to live. Welcome home, where dreams are created and lifestyles are elevated.
Welcome, Fort Myers Beach good neighbors, to another episode with Alex King, talking about real estate. Today, we're going to talk about something that comes up time to time here in Fort Myers Beach in the real estate world, and that's short-term rentals. We want to go a little bit deeper than just whether a property can be rented. We want to talk about how homes are actually designed for short-term rental use, what makes a property perform well, and some of the unique nuances that come with buying and owning on the island. Because not every single property is the same, and not every home looks the same on paper as it does in person. So let's start here. When people hear short-term rentals, what are they thinking? What are they picturing?
Well, good morning, everybody.
Right? Yep.
Alex King here. So repeat your question.
So when people hear short-term rentals, what are they thinking? What are they picturing?
It's such a all-encompassing phrase,
right?
If we were just like a 1 mile stretch of island, and it could with just condos, it'd be that.
Yeah.
But not only do we have condos on the Gulf front, we have houses on the Gulf front. We got canal houses, we got duplexes, triplexes, we got 6-bedroom homes. It is such a wide net. But as we dig down deeper in this conversation, we can dissect it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, but when they're thinking rental initially, are they thinking investment? Are they thinking, oh, we're going to make money? It just because it's on the island, it works as a rental kind of scenario, right?
Well, yeah, and that's a very important factor to think about. What is your real goal? So are you an investor? Okay, well, what does that mean to you? Because a lot of folks, it could mean I bought a property.
Yep.
I put it in a rental program. Let's say my basic operating costs are maybe $25,000 a year, and you broke even. Now, you are an investor because you know why? You're building equity.
Yeah.
And that was your goal: break even, have a free place to stay. Right?
Sounds like a great
That is a goal for many folks. As long as it breaks even, we can afford that.
So once you get past the vision, the postcard vision of it, and what matters most is actually how the property functions, right? So when you look at a property and think, this could be a short-term rental, what are they seeing? What are they seeing in the potential?
Well, when we're looking at the properties for short-term rental, there's geographic location. There's the way the house is designed. Depending where it is it on the beach or a canal? For example, if you're on the beachfront, you probably will be thinking about, if it's a new construction, having a rooftop deck. That's a new in vogue thing right now, because you'll be able to be up there. You have great views. And then in the ground level area, you're probably going to have some paddle boards, a lot of beach toys that you just drag out to the beach. Now, that's a little bit different if you're over on a side street that's a dry street, no canal. Bicycles are going to be very important.
It all ties together, and I'm guessing that's where design becomes a much bigger part of the conversation. Where that location is depends on what they're going to be offering at that property. So how much does actual design of the home matter when you're talking about short-term rentals, whether they're building from new or, rebuilding something that's existing?
That is such a critical question, because another big part of it is going back to the investor part, is what is your goal? Is it 100% investment, no personal use? We're going to design it in a certain way, which you'll go into. Is it mostly personal use, just cover operating costs, or is it a blended use where you might use it a month, a year? That's it. Okay. So if you're just pure investor, heads and beds. we've been getting more and more folks the past 2 years from Destin, Panama City, Outer Banks, Myrtle Beach, and they go, y'all don't have any houses with 8 or 10 or 12 bedrooms. Now, at first I'm looking at them going, are you nuts? But there's a massive demand for it.
That's it.
Because I went and researched, and as many of the builders on the island are looking into this, we're already having a proliferation of 6-bedroom homes. Well, that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom, and more is coming up.
And because people want to bring their extended family, their whole family, right? Not just.
Yeah, and you're starting to see a higher demographic, and they want a grandma will fly anyone and everyone. So we get calls all the time. We need a girlfriend house. We need it for 20 people, where we can rent 2 or 3, or we'd like 3 houses next to each other. So what's happening, we're working with the builders. They're building for that. They're now, and the investors, they're buying 2 or 3 lots together, and they're building 3 5-bedrooms, 2 6-bedrooms. And now they can do the big families, the reunions. And you're going to see that happen more and more here on the island.
Talk about functionality about that. Is there a certain layout that's conducive to that? Or can that be, say you've got a 8-bedroom place, can that be divided into 4 bedrooms? Or how does that come into play?
Well, it also depends on the size of the lot. Are you building? I mean, at that level, you'll be 2 stories above the garage.
Yeah.
But some of our lots are 100-foot wide. Most of them are 50 to 60. So therefore, you're going to go 2 stories above garage. Yeah. What we've been seeing in houses already built that we get the best reviews on is there's 2 living areas. So upstairs on the 3rd floor, you might have 4 bedrooms, but there's separate lounge area with a coffee station and TV, as well as the main floor. You got a VIP suite, and you also have the great room.
So how did this conversation change depending on the property type, from condo to single family to beachfront, canal front? I mean,
well, it's a great question. A lot of it is pricing too. But you got to think about it. We have something for everyone. So let's say someone wants a condo, okay, and they look, pink shell attracts a lot of attention.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's an amazing place. It's a resort experience. It's close to the Pier District. It's a condotel. Now, what is that? Well, it operates like a hotel, but it's a condo. However, they take about 55% of the gross income, and then you take your HOA and taxes out of it. So your net's much smaller. However, there's nothing to do, and you're like in a big resort. Now, we do have other condotels on the island that are much bigger square footage. We have 3 bedrooms.
Wow.
Now, most of the condos built way back in the 70s and 80s were 2 bedrooms or smaller footprints. So we have very few 3 bedrooms. So you can look at Gullwing or Point Estero condotel, or you can move just to a regular condo. And we have monthly rental condos and we have weekly rental condos. Now, monthly rental condos can be investment property too. Maybe you're just going to use it for December. Well, you can definitely make some serious money renting it out January, February, March, April. You can rent it out the whole year. However, you can only rent 1 person per month, and probably won't get too much.
Makes sense. We're a unique market in the sense that we offer a big variety of opportunities down here. It's not just not just condo living. It's not just, multifamilies, or not multifamily, but, multi-bedrooms and things.
And I think it's important because some folks don't want to be in a hotel-like atmosphere.
Yeah.
They want to know their neighbors, and why a monthly rental condo is perfect for them. It'll create income, or break even. They could use it January through March, rent it for Christmas, and probably pay all their expenses.
Right.
Okay. But if you go over to the housing market, we're running out of new construction homes built since 2022. So everyone's asking, what should we build? And I am pushing them to 4-bedroom minimum. So that is really important. The demand is for higher bedroom count.
Yep.
But if you're on a budget, please go to 4-bedroom instead of 3-bedroom.
So we touched on the uniqueness of Fort Myers Beach. What about the nuances?
Mhm.
What do people need to understand when they're buying a short-term rental here in Fort Myers
Well,
Beach?
I think one is geography. Everyone thinks Margaritaville and Times Square and Pier District and Nellie's and all around there, that's where you want to be. Well, guess what? Maybe not everybody wants to be around the woohoo. Actually, we have tremendous income opportunities right in Middle Island. Hey, I went out, I bought 3 lots, I built 2 houses, I got 1 more to go. I have 2 5-bedrooms. I have 1 on the dry lot up here near Mid Island Drive.
Mm-hmm.
What is that, 2 miles from Times Square?
Yep.
Right. Guess what? It's rented all the time. It's unbelievable. So you don't have to be in that little concentric circle right around all the woohoo.
You can go into it, but come out and be quiet and relax.
A lot of people are coming on vacation. They work hard, crazy. They got 7 days. They're here to sit on the beach and relax.
I get it. So what surprises out-of-town visitors the most when they come to Fort Myers Beach as far as availability and uniqueness?
Mm-hmm. There truly is something for everyone. What we're really seeing is how surprised people are that the center of the island, and especially the south end of the island, is really creating its own commercial districts, entertainment districts, but they're also becoming a vibrant place for rental property. You're now really seeing the demographic and the quality of intentional buyers and renters coming in from Naples, Bonita. They think right now we're at the bottom of the market. That's the number one question I'm getting right now. Alex, you think we're at the bottom market? I said, I think everything's going to get absorbed this summer and fall. If you want to steal or deal, this is the time.
Yep.
And so I think it's going to be a tremendous market for a development of rental property and single family homes.
And those nuances and, like you had mentioned, sections of the island kind of play into, depending where you buy and how you're going to design your rental.
Well, exactly. If you're on a really wide 60, 70, 80-foot lot on a canal, well, you're going to do a 1-level home.
Yeah.
Nice 4-bedroom, 4+ den, or 2-level, but just a much smaller master suite up top.
Yeah.
And it's really, you're going to design it with the big pool deck. The greatest reviews out there for these big wide lots is this massive pool deck. Another thing that's really important on design is a lot of folks really don't want to go anywhere. They just want to stay at the house with their family because they'd never see their family and friends.
Yep.
And so you want to design it so they don't have to leave there. So what does that mean? That means you need all the entertainment there. Maybe there's a putting green in the ground level. There's the tossing games.
Yep.
There's arcade games. There's outdoor grills.
Entertain yourself without leaving home.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's another component out there. There's so many different dynamics that you can choose from. There's something for everybody.
But as a designer or as an owner, sometimes overthinking that comes into it too. They're like, well, I want them to have the opportunity to do everything. Well, it doesn't make sense in every scenario, right?
You have to go back and decide, are you a pure investor?
Yeah.
A blended use?
Right.
Or what?
Are you going to use it, or are you just want
right.
somebody else to
If
use
you're
it?
a pure investor, you're designing it totally differently than a personal use. Personal use is going to have bigger closets, right?
Yeah.
Investors going to have smaller closets because all you need are flip-flops and bathing suits. They're only here a week, right? But if you're designing it for yourself or you're on a monthly street and you're going to rent it out for 3 months, then you're probably going to design it for a living arrangement.
Yep.
Right.
So, and on the other side of that too, are design choices affected by maintenance? I mean, because maintenance could be a big issue too, depending on what you have on the property, right?
That's true too. You have to decide, do you really want to be maintaining a boat dock and boat lift?
Yeah.
Is that a requirement for renters? Now, unless they're coming for 90 days, they're not bringing their boat.
Right.
Or so, and are you going to have the liability of renting those out?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just one element on a waterfront. And just the maintenance of a older home versus a newer home.
Yeah. Pool versus no pool.
But I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
You have to have a pool if you want summer and fall rentals,
Yeah.
period. Houses with pools get rented first. So if you don't know where to go with pool, we got a lot of pool companies.
There you go.
Will help you get dialed in with.
So that brings up an interesting point. Some people want a turnkey where they can just step in and start renting it tomorrow. Other people want to come in and say, well, I want to tweak this a little bit and update it a little bit.
Sure.
What do you see in that? Most of that? Is it kind of a mix?
Well, we went through a massive flow of investors and buyers that want to come in and fix it up. And they grab tons of it. There's still some out there, but now we got the big wave of buy and build. And then there's the next group that they're still working. They've already done 4 remodels. They don't want any more. They want to buy it turnkey, move in ready, and go to rent. So we have that for them as well.
Are you seeing people stumble along or make certain mistakes that they probably could have avoided during that process?
Absolutely. Whether you're buying an older house or a condo or building a house, there's so many, landmines out there.
Yeah.
And what's important, we have a lot of folks buying a house on a street. They think they can rent it out weekly, but then they get a violation notice that they're renting weekly on a monthly street. It's really important to go local.
Yep.
Whether it's me or anyone else on the island that's truly local, we do know what streets you can or can't, and we can guide you.
And then, talking about that too, we talked about the balance between people that want to come here maybe as snowbirds or come here occasionally for a week or two. How do they balance that, as far as the rental opportunities are concerned? The schedule could be challenging if you're, okay, if I'm blocking off 4 months compared to I'm blocking off this week and this week and that week, kind of, it's
no, that's a good question. We see one of the big decision process that have to be made is your highest, one of the highest rent weeks is Christmas. Now, how far into January do you rent that group? Do you cannibalize a rental in beginning of January because you rented too far for the Christmas group? Where's your cost benefit analysis?
Right.
So
somebody listening right now is actively shopping. Let's kind of put this into perspective for them. Someone shopping in Fort Myers Beach specifically for a short-term rental in mind, what should they really be paying attention to first? Location, price, amenities?
Well, back again, you really have to decide where do you want to be on the island geographically. And if you're not familiar with the island, get you a guide. They'll take you around and teach you the 6 or 7 geographic areas of the island and what that means for lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think you really have to decide, how much you're going to use it. And even if you're a 100% investor, we know you're going to use it. You are. You're going to use it 1 week. I tell you, you will.
You're going to come down here like, we got to stay here, right?
But anyway, so you have to decide geographically, number one.
So what separates a smart buy for a property from a promising at first glance kind of scenario?
Well, buying on Fort Myers Beach is very emotional.
Yep.
Most buyers come here with their family and friends, and they get excited. But typically they'll come back. It's they don't buy when they're with their friends, but they come back during our circle back season, and that starts right after Easter. And they come back with the kids and without their drinking buddies and kids, and they're here April to August. And so now they're able to think clearly and really dial down into making a purchase decision.
So I think, to kind of wrap this all up, I mean, we have opportunities for every size and every opportunity. You touched on the demand for larger bedroom units, but then there's a demand for smaller, maybe canal versions where people just want to come in, relax, just them and their wife or close family. How do we kind of wrap all this up? How do we sum up rentals on Fort Myers Beach?
I would sum it up, say this is one of the most exciting places in the United States to get into the rental market. Even the rack rates we're seeing, and I hear it across the board, are just unbelievable. And that means the nightly rates.
Yeah.
And we haven't even come alive full renaissance yet,
Right.
As the commercial comes up. I think it's going to be the greatest investment opportunity over this next year and a half.
And you're seeing a lot of, you're seeing a lot of demand.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing certain things trending? Obviously, we're changing here in Fort Myers Beach, but do you see certain things trending?
Well, yeah, we're seeing the trend for larger footprint houses. We have a lot of duplexes and triplexes that have been here for a while that are older. So there are still a demand for classic cottages and classic houses on those beautiful Spanish oak line streets like in Falkirk or Coconut. But there's a much bigger demand for newer. And even if it's an older home, they're expecting it to be totally redone. Really nice inside.
Got to update, got to upgrade everything. Yes. So great insight today. I think the conversation really kind of helps people understand, the success they need to position themselves for short-term rentals here in Fort Myers Beach. It comes from choosing the right property, understanding the market, and making smart decisions about design, amenities, and what they want to offer, and really what they want to focus on. Are they going to be here? Or are they not going to be here? So thanks again for joining and listening to us. Any last words for our listeners today?
Well, it's also critical to choose the right rental agency. And each of them are good at certain things and specialized in geographic and houses or condos. And we know, as a realtor, we know what they're good at and bad at. And we try to guide you to achieve your goals. So I think it's real important. Work with your local agent or whoever you choose here. Make sure they're local. And that way we can really help you make great decisions.
Yeah, and somebody that's knowledgeable about the area and what's going on here and has the heartbeat of it is more apt to get you what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Very good. Alex, it's been a pleasure.
All right.
Have a good day. We'll see you at the beach, right?
See you at the beach.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to the Fort Myers Beach Good Neighbor podcast and the Alex King Group series. Join us again next week as we continue exploring all things Fort Myers Beach real estate and the unique lifestyle that makes this community shine, where dreams are created and lifestyles are elevated. To learn more, go to alexkinggroup.com. That's alexkinggroup.com or call 239-232-6465. Until next time, remember to keep being a good neighbor.